All right, I know it's been quite some time. And in all fairness, no, I just don't have an excuse. Hey, welcome back to the next season of Drop Your Noise. I'm your host, Kirti. If you're new, I have been doing this for quite a few years now. I speak to people from around the world. I ask them about their perspective about different teams. And I'm so glad to have you here on the podcast today. This is just a quick let's get back into routine podcast and to share with you what could be potentially coming up. Where have I been all this time? So, I have taken time off. I didn't expect to take off such a long time in July. I was turning 50. My family came in to celebrate with me. I moved countries from London to Dubai, at least, or feeling it out to see if this is something for me. And getting and living out of a suitcase for over 6 months. I cannot tell you that there was a time that I was comfortable to do this. And now I was only too glad to get a space where I can settle down and actually see a kitchen. There you go. But in order for me to get to that, I had to drop a lot of my internal noise from inside. And I had to laugh because what I talk about to others, and here I am having to put it into full practice. And now I'm going to be sharing it with you. One of the things that came up was a slogan in my book, Drop Your Noise: Welcome the Unwelcome. When I took time off, I did not expect to undergo so much internal contemplation, as it were. As I spent more time with my family, I spent less time on social media. And I cannot tell you, I felt a huge sense of relief. And I was surprised by that. And then as I was trying to get back into work a couple of months later, I found myself getting on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. No, I know I got to post because of my work and for podcast and get people to know what I'm doing. But I felt overwhelmed. There was so much news. My algorithms kept popping up with personal development, lots of advice, AI. My head was spinning. And I could feel my internal system actually shutting down. It was just like constantly more information and more information at you that I missed being offline. And so I'm actually undergoing this bit of a struggle like, oh, I know I got to post, but I freeze. I'm like, I just don't want to do it anymore. And maybe you have some advice or tips for me. And if you do, send me an email over. I'd be interested to find out. But I had to welcome my unwelcome. I had to look inside of me and really, even as a businesswoman, look at it and say, I'm uncomfortable with this. And what does that really signify? If I don't go on social media, where am I going to find a community? How am I going to go through this? I almost felt like there was a bit of a crisis inside of me happening. But there you go. One thing I did miss was coming online and talking and interviewing friends from around the world, interviewing new individuals who have a fresh perspective on life. And in order to find them, I still got to go on social media. So it got me thinking, if I have to welcome my unwelcome feelings, how would I work with it? So I kind of made a list and I said, okay, well, how do I frame this differently? How can I have a different relationship and not feel burdened by this whole thing of if you don't show up and if you don't post, you are not going to get to be seen because of the algorithm. And I find that dependency on the algorithm, even from a business perspective, a bit unhealthy. But I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are about that. The second thing that I was undergoing is maybe because I'm turning 50, they say, you undergo this massive shift. And I thought it was between a lot of people's heads, but I have to say, there is a difference. And so as you head into your 50s, you start reflecting back on your life, whether you like it or not. And you start asking yourself, well, where am I going to go forward in the next X amount of years, And people like to think that you've reached your halfway point. Well, I don't think I want to live till 100. So I'm past the halfway point at this part. But what I did find curious was asking myself, how much do I really want to burn the midnight oil? How much do I really want to invest and exhaust myself? And so I stopped and I looked around me and I started to notice everybody is so busy in just doing, doing, doing. And if they're not doing, they're behind their screens. There's a sense of not really communicating. Yes, communicating, but on a superficial level. And I'm going to confess something that I don't think my family would like me to share. But on my 50th, surprise, surprise, that I moved to Dubai, my WhatsApp doesn't work here. So people can't pick up the phone and just call me. And all of a sudden, with the time difference, most of my family forgot to app me to wish me happy birthday until a couple of days later. And I just thought, no, that's not right. In my 50th, that's what I have to go through. And one of my cousins said to me, well, we've been so busy about you focusing on moving that we forgot that you were turning 50. And he also said, well, I've been so busy that I only got a chance to sit down at 9:30 p.m. And while on some ways I would like to say that's actually, yeah, I get it. And I do because we all work till late. Even now, as I do my recordings, they're not during the morning time, they're in the evening. I know one thing is that when we start choosing so much for our work, what happens to our relationships? And to tie it back into my first point, when I went back online and I started looking through social media, if there's anything that comes across is this sense of loneliness amongst all that noise, amongst all that advice, amongst all those things you should and shouldn't do, all those influencers and all those people who want to talk like experts. It's actually not bringing people closer to themselves. They're like, everybody goes, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But it's about the actual doing. It's about the actual sitting down and making that time for those one to one conversations. And so I find it very curious that all these unwelcoming moments were happening, and I had to welcome them and ask myself, what is it that I could shift potentially going forward? So, yes, I wasn't online for 3 months, but my state of mind was thinking about even the podcast. What do I want to share with you? What can I bring for you? And either is it bringing just a smile and a joy or a fresh perspective? And everybody who kept asking me, well, what is Drop Your Noise about? And I would be like, it's literally about just coming back to those human conversations. And every time people would ask me about the podcast, here's one thing I would hear that would frustrate me. Oh, it's like Diary of a CEO. And I would be like, you know what? Why would I want to always hear the same influencers or the same famous people over and over again? Yes, they can provide a perspective, but there's so many individuals out there experiencing life through different lenses. Why are we not open to listening to their perspective if they don't have the numbers to back them? I did. Here I am saying it out loud, but I would love to know your thoughts about it. Or maybe I'm just off. But for me, if I want to get back to human connection, I don't need somebody out there to tell me I need to start having those conversations. And that stood out for me from the moment I actually stopped being on social media. And I'm super appreciative for it because the people who did want to connect with me have connected with me. And they would find their ways maybe in my DMs. And that one to one conversation felt far more, you know, heartfelt. It felt more engaging, even though we are different and seas apart from one another. These were a couple of my ramblings I was going through my head and also looking to connect the dots with one another. Now, tying a lot of that together, coming to Dubai has been interesting. So many individuals have been taken by this image that Dubai is only about this bling and this fancy life. And there are so many individuals who do share that online. But actually, when I arrived here, Dubai is really impressive in the sense that it's creative and it's innovative. The bling plus push the bling aside because it doesn't need to be there. I have met some of the most delightful individuals in Dubai. And I guess it has to do with this feeling that everybody's from everywhere. So you can't take your sense of culture for granted. Everybody comes with their something. And because everyone comes to this land knowing that they come with this something, are much more open-minded and are in a state of how can I help? Let's meet up. Let's catch up. There's a lot more human connection here than I had imagined. So as I'm exploring Dubai, I'm curious what it's going to share me about me as well, because I find everywhere I have moved, countries have brought me something and taught me something about myself. And so I'm just curious, where is this all going to take me? But underneath that, when I arrived into Dubai, I have to tell you, I was nervous. I felt like, am I going to be okay here? Is this something for me? It's new territory, new culture. And it's so interesting to see how many unwelcoming feelings arose within inside of me, that uncertainty, that unexpectedness, and being open to change at this age of my life as well. So much has been going on. And it came back to the welcome, the unwelcome. What happens inside when things are just either too overwhelming or they're too different, and really having to connect back underneath all of that noise that goes on. And that leads me to this month. I'm going to be sharing 2 episodes with one guest. Her name is Sarita, and I can't wait to share with you her story. And I've split it into 2 parts because one is about her identity, which is very interesting because she's like me. When people ask, where are you from? It's like, oh, it's not like a one sentence answer, but it's a conversation in itself. And the second one is about her journey as an entrepreneur. And I was quite fascinated by her take on what she does. So I look forward to sharing it with you. As usual, I don't want to leave too much out. And yeah, I'm happy to be back. So this is my episode of just saying, hey, I'm back. And I'm looking forward to connecting back with you. Have a good one. Till the next one. Take care.